Greetings and felicitations.
Hip hip hurrah, tally-ho.
Let's talk about some of the highlights of television that happened throughout the year. Okay, beginning in the year, January 3rd, Hullabaloo shows promotional videos of the Beatles songs Day Tripper and We Can Work It Out, which is very interesting because we could say that this is the earliest forms of music videos.
Which I believe back then the video was just watching them sing, right?
Oftentimes on these shows, but because the Beatles could not make these live performances, they started making studio productions. So we're seeing early stages of what would, if you get enough videos together, you could create a whole network of them.
Okay.
January 12th.
The first episode of Batman the TV series, which was called Hi Diddle Riddle, is aired on ABC, starring, of course we know, Adam West and Burt Ward.
Game changer, huh? I mean, we love that show. January 13th of 1966.
Tabitha is born on the Bewitched episode titled And Then There Were Three.
That's one of your top shows, right?
Yes, and I saw the one when Tabitha was born. Yeah, I loved Bewitched and Tabitha.
February 3rd of that year, ABC Scope begins to devote itself exclusively to coverage of the Vietnam War.
It was during the time of the Vietnam War, which a lot of people talk about. February 13th, the Rolling Stones make another appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show.
I think this is fascinating. This is the era where it was back and forth between the Beatles and the Stones.
And amazing, you know how people talk about the Stones are so old. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I saw them a couple years ago on the Zip Code tour, and they are in fantastic shape. Going back to the Beatles on June 5th, they make a taped appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, debuting their music videos for Rain and Paperback Writer.
September 8th, the first episode of Star Trek is aired, and of course it was The Man Trap.
One day later, September 9th, the first episode of The Green Hornet, episode entitled The Silent Gun, is aired on ABC, starring Van Williams and Bruce Lee.
So another comic book superhero, right? Mm-hmm. September 11th, the Rolling Stones made another appearance on the Ed Sullivan. So yeah, going back and forth between the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
This is one of our all-time holiday classics that made its first appearance on October 27th of 1966. It's a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Didn't you love those Charlie Brown specials?
Yes, I didn't know they were that old. Really? So the Great
Isn't
Pumpkin
that crazy?
Movie was back from 1966. Wow. October 29th, actor William Hartnell makes his last regular appearance as the first Doctor in the concluding moments of Episode 4 of the Doctor Who serial, The 10th Planet. Actor Patrick Troughton briefly appears as the second Doctor at the conclusion of the serial. So yeah, a Doctor Who moment. Of course, we know that show goes back to the 60s.
And that's the first regeneration.
And they didn't call it a regeneration back then.
No. So 1966 was a pivotal year for science fiction, fantasy, and action on television. Because later on, November 5th, Patrick Troughton appears in his first full Doctor Who serial, The Power of the Daleks. And he's labeled as the second Doctor.
Amazing. December 18th, CBS airs the television adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas for the first time.
How cool is that? Like two pivotal holiday movies in 1 year. So, Charlie Brown and The Grinch.
I mean, yeah, so The Grinch goes back that far.
Okay, we are opening up this TV guide from 1966. It's actually the issue number 701, September 3rd, 1966.
It's for that week.
It's for that week, yes, September 3rd through the 9th. We look at the cover, and has Eva Gabor from Green Acres on it.
And that is a show I used to watch in syndication.
It says television's undercover role in the pro football merger.
Right, yeah, it
And,
talks about
yeah,
football, but it's a picture of her, yeah.
Picture of her. Beautiful picture of her wearing a tiara and a necklace. But why do we have this in our collection, this particular issue?
I wonder.
We know something special happened that week. And as we open up the TV Guide and we look through it, we'll discuss it further. So we first open up the page, and right off the bat, here we go. We're in the 60s. I always talk about cigarettes. It's an Asian woman with a rice picker hat on with a big bite mark in it. And it says, "Show me a filter cigarette that really delivers taste, and I'll eat my hat." So it's an ad for Lucky Strike. So apparently that filter had really great taste, and she started eating her hat.
Okay, that was an ad.
And then there's a first page. It's the indicia, and it talks about the Nielsen rating system, when it starts, which is curious. I don't remember articles when we were getting TV Guide as kids talking about Nielsen rating system. But we're seeing it numerous times in these 60s.
It must have been
TV
newer
guides.
then.
So it had to be something that people cared about too. Ad for Gerber babies. Something about baby shirts and socks and training pants. Okay. Pro Football's Shotgun Marriage, an article about pro football. What did you notice about these early TV guides, about the articles?
There wasn't much interesting.
Not much at all. What sort of women do actors marry? Yep.
Yeah, things like that in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care. Then we got this regular super V-form teenage modess. Positive protection. It's an ad for something that I don't know what they're advertising. What is this?
I would say it's for women's, feminine napkins
or that what it is?
Something like that.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't say, but I think they're not allowed to say.
Okay. Well, I guess if you know what it is, you know what it is. If you don't, whatever. Then it has an article of I'm Interviewing You, in which playwright Murray Shiskull questions actor Alan Arkin and gets nothing much settled, including the matter of $25. Again, another article couldn't care less about, right?
Right.
Finally, we look like we're getting into the programming. Central Virginia edition, that's what we're reading. Has the address, TV Guide, Washington, D.C. Letters page. There's really nothing interesting about the letters column here. Now we had cigarettes. Now we have an ad for liquor. Dry is our middle name. Canada Dry vodka and Canada Dry gin. It's kind of crazy to think that Canada Dry had their own vodka and gin back in the day.
Yeah, they don't just make ginger ale.
Okay, this week, this is a good one. This is a real good TV guide. This is one of the highlights. Gemini space flight. The Gemini 11 liftoff is scheduled for Friday morning. Kind of cool.
Yes. Wasn't this the page that had premieres? Yeah, debuts for the week, and you can see things listed here.
Look at how many debuts are here. Exercise with Gloria, Scramble, Mike Douglas.
So these are TV shows that are new, that are debuting the week of this TV Guide. And I believe this issue did say that this is, I think it's really the week after this that's the normal premiere week for TV shows, but some of the networks started earlier.
That's right. Here we go. Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Star Trek. Green Hornet, Friday at 7:30. Time Tunnel, Friday at 8 o'clock. Oh, man, there are some good shows debuting this week. This year. Boy, this year was good.
Yeah, you know what? There was something that came out one time that this was not really the first time that Star Trek premiered. It actually premiered. They had some kind of special preview that was a week or two before this, but somehow that kind of got lost in time. The date of this week, September 8th, is still considered Star Trek's premiere date.
So when there was that pseudo premiere, was that just in certain markets?
It might have been, yeah, because for some reason
September
it's not
8th
considered.
Is considered law.
It is.
Okay. So we are starting on a Saturday because for whatever reason, we know the TV Guide starts on Saturdays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your house and watch TV. That sound good to you?
Okay. What cereal are you going to bring?
Does that matter? Are you only going to let me in if I bring a really good cereal to watch Saturday morning cartoons with you?
Yes, you have to bring a good cereal.
Okay. So let's see. For 1966, what cereals would have been out? I mean, there would have been a limited amount back then. What if I bring Rice Krispies?
That's good.
That's good? Okay, good. Do you put sugar on your Rice Krispies?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Yeah.
Did you?
No, I don't like sugar on Rice Krispies.
Well, I mean, I think it was sweet enough.
Yes, I think so too. We're sitting in front of the TV, and we're going to go back and forth to see who gets to watch what shows. First show of the morning is 6:55, Guidepost, a religious show. So imagine, during this time, TV was not running round the clock. 7 o'clock in the morning, Summer Semester, and Glenn Howell. Two shows that we don't care about. Don't know what it is, don't care. Western shows. Okay, finally, 8 o'clock. We have a choice between Captain Kangaroo, Kitty Capers, Cactus Joe, or Cartoon Carnival. What do you want to watch?
Captain Kangaroo.
I agree.
Did all of those start with a C or?
Doesn't even say.
No, you can tell.
It says children. It says children,
no.
See?
Captain Kangaroo with a C sound. Captain Kangaroo, Kitty Capers, the hard C sound. Cactus, Cartoon, they all started with with the same sound.
I see what you're saying. I thought you said in print. No, in print it just says the stations, and nothing else. It doesn't even say if it's animated or not. You know what I'm saying? It just says they're children's shows.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Okay. But the Beatles for 8:30 does say cartoons. So we have a choice. There's no choice. 8:30, there's only one thing to watch, the Beatles. So I guess watch the Beatles. 9 o'clock, here we go. Heckle and Jekyll, Jetsons, Cartoon Theater, or Sunday School. What do you want to watch? Jetsons. Yep, we're same thing. 9:30, Tennessee Tuxedo, Adam Ant, Astro Boy.
Astro Boy?
I'll watch that too.
I mean, Adam Ant was not the singer.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I know. I mean, I'm going, what? Oh, ATOM, Adam. Right.
Yes. Okay, 10 o'clock. Mighty Mouse, Secret Squirrel, or Porky Pig?
Mighty Mouse?
Yep, I would do the same thing. 10:30. Lassie, the Beatles cartoon, Underdog.
Lassie.
Might watch Underdog, so if I have to get up and turn the station, are you going to let me?
No, it's my house.
11 o'clock. Tom and Jerry, or Top Cat, or Casper? Casper. Yep, I agree. Like those Harvey cartoons. 11:30. Quick Draw McGraw, Fury, or McGill Gorilla?
Quick Draw McGraw.
Okay, what about McGill Gorilla?
Okay, maybe.
Go either way. I can go either way with those. We have a TV close-up in the afternoon. It actually gives a map of golf courses, and it shows the yardage and what the pars are, which is kind of interesting. Afternoon, 12 o'clock. Spy King, Bugs Bunny, Desert Guns movie, Zorro's romance movie, or Bachelor Father?
Bugs Bunny.
Yep, I agree. 12:30, Linus, Lone Ranger, M Squad, or Milton the Monster?
Lone Ranger.
I would watch that too. This is why we're best friends now, because we would have been best friends as kids watching this stuff together. How you doing with your cereal? You need a little more?
Yeah, I think I need some more.
Well, it's getting lunchtime. Your mom going to make us peanut butter jelly sandwiches pretty soon?
Yeah, she will.
Okay. 1 o'clock, My Friend Flicka, American Bandstand, which has Johnny Rivers on it, Adventures in Paradise, Baseball, Giants versus Cards, or Hoppity Hooper?
American Bandstand.
Okay. 1:30, Mr. Piper, McGill Gorilla, Heckle and Jekyll, American Bandstand's 10th anniversary show. Which one?
Oh, wow, that show is old, isn't it?
So it started in 55, I guess.
Yeah.
Or 56.
Amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, we were watching that in the 80s.
We were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we start going into the afternoon. We start getting more movies, more sports. 2:30, though, Mothra, Japanese 1962 movie. That would be good to watch. Wrestling out of Roanoke during the Territory days. Golf. So we're starting to see Grand Ole Opry at 6:30. Then it just jumps into evening. So there's like sometimes there's only one program on at a time. Grand Ole Opry at 6:30. We're seeing news and weather around this time. Oh, check this out. Outer Limits is also at 6:30. The Mice.
Interesting.
Choice between Grand Ole Opry or Outer Limits. What do you want to watch?
Outer Limits.
Okay. Continental Showcase, which is a variety of highlights from different countries. Flipper. Yeah, I watched Flipper here and there. It wasn't the top draw for me. Okay. 8 o'clock, I Dream of Jeannie or Donna Reed?
I would watch I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah,
That's
no contest.
one of my shows,
I love
yes.
I Dream of Jeannie, of course. Okay, 8:30, Secret Agent. Lawrence Welk or Get Smart?
Get Smart.
We both like Get Smart, didn't we?
Always one of my favorite shows.
And I like it because they're starting to show things in color. Because that's something to consider, that by 1966, a lot of shows started broadcasting in color.
Well, I mean, it actually says, if it's in color, it says color in this issue.
Here we go, another ad. Canada Dry, Bourbon. Okay, that's weird. Sunday morning, Church of God at 7 o'clock or Popeye? Popeye. 7:30, Casper, Jerry Falwell, or This Is Your Life?
Casper. And Jerry Falwell, he was still someone that was known in the 80s too.
That's true. Also, Singing Time in Dixie. Don't know what that is. Let's see. It's all gospel, all the way down. Tons on Sunday morning. Cartoon Carnival comes on at 9:30, though. I don't know what that is. More Hippity Hooper or Hoppity Hooper. Religious shows constantly. All Sunday morning. Say pro football. Oh, it actually tells all the players and what positions that they play. Interesting. Davy and Goliath is on at 1:15. Love that show. Once you start getting into the afternoon, then it starts getting into standard programming. There's actually at 2 o'clock a Vietnam review. ABC Scope on Vietnam. So we're starting to see that this is the era there was a ton of coverage of the Vietnam conflict. 3:30, Extrasensory Perception. A special, The Baffling World of ESP. I think it would be interesting watching that. 4:30 in the afternoon, The Munsters.
That's something, yes.
5 o'clock, choice of Mr. Ed, Lost in Space, Astro Boy, or on Channel 3, To Be Announced. So I don't know if it's a show name to be announced, or they don't know what they're going to program, so they'll throw something on there.
Yeah, I think they don't know. So.
What would you watch at 5 o'clock on Sunday night?
Lost in Space.
Absolutely. You bubble-headed booby.
It was all Dr. Smith, yeah.
How about 7:30 at night? A choice of My Favorite Martian or Walt Disney's World. Andrew's Raiders. Out of those two, which would you watch?
My Favorite Martian.
Okay.
I mean, you see, looks like they had stuff back then that was off the beaten path. It wasn't just regular people shows.
That's true. 8 o'clock, Ed Sullivan. Check who's out on Ed Sullivan 1966. Richard Pryor.
So he was famous back then.
Or
up and coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize he was on the Ed Sullivan show back then. Perry Mason's on at 9 o'clock. Fantastic show. Candid Camera at 10 o'clock. How about Monday morning? Yeah, so it talks about this week, things going on, things coming off. It has a listing of all the different sportings, but it's horse races. There's multiple horse races, and billiards too. It lists wrestling, but it doesn't list what kind of wrestling. A lot of these stations not all the stations went on yet, so you're having just one or two things early in the morning. The ball really doesn't start rolling till about 8, 9 o'clock, because then we're starting to see Captain Kangaroo, Newlywed Game, Donna Reed, quite a few news programs, Leave It to Beaver at 9:30, Robin Hood's Adventures, Andy Griffith Show at 11 o'clock, The Dating Game at 11:30, Swing and Country, a variety show at 12:30, Scramble, 1 o'clock game show, Password, 2 o'clock game show. So we're seeing some game shows here. The Match Game at 4 o'clock.
Ooh, yeah, some of these shows that still lasted, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dark Shadows. Now this debuted in 1966 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They refer to it as a serial. Now I think a serial makes more sense Calling Dark Shadows. Some people call it a soap opera. I don't view it as a soap opera. Evening time on Monday. We're getting some sports in. A lot of news. Robin Hood. Andy Griffith at 9 o'clock.
That was one of my shows, yes.
Hazel. Didn't watch it really that much. I've seen episodes of it. Wasn't so much of a fan of it.
Just sort of watched it, yeah.
Exactly. Dick Cavett was a comedic guest on the Johnny Carson show at 11 o'clock.
Okay, and Johnny Carson was another one of those, yeah. Mm-hmm. Johnny Carson was another one of those who lasted a while with his show.
You're not kidding. For Century Club, best bourbon out of Kentucky in 100 years. It's so funny because a lot of these things that they're advertising, they're like low shelf liquors now. Tuesday morning, we're seeing kind of a repeat of Monday. A couple little differences here and there. Really not seeing anything that's jumping out. Like looking at these ads, though. It's a big ad for Billy Graham. There's an ad for The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. Great new show starts next Tuesday.
I believe that one never made it, really, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, but it has Stephanie Powers in it. I loved her later on.
Yeah.
In Heart to Heart. She was in $6 Million Man, too. Remember that episode?
She was, yes.
Yep. Special premiere, King Kong, animated show. Big ad. This is funny looking at ads of yesteryear because not only the ads in print but also on TV. Yesteryear, and in comic books too. It was you could do something with your life. You're down in the dumps hole, get a job, or become a computer technician, learn to ride a truck, something. This one is now you can finish high school at home. Now the ads now are nothing about bettering yourself. Okay. It's all about sue somebody.
The thing is this, so the TV guide had the different types of pages. So you had the black and white, the newspaper type pages.
Yes.
And then this particular ad you're talking about, homeschool, was the cardboard. It was tougher paper.
Yes.
I remember in the 70s when I got TV guide, when it had those cardboard type ads, I would always tear it out.
I find them annoying. Yes.
Right after I bought the issue, it was tear out those little cardboard pages.
Because it's right in the center, so it's easy to take it out.
Right, and then make it easier to just flip through. I didn't even look at those, didn't pay attention to them.
Yep, so this is an ad, finish high school at home, which is a noble thing, based out of Chicago, Illinois. Alright, so let's see. Advanced Premiere, more ads. The Rounders, never heard of it. Advanced Premiere, The Pruitts of Southampton. You ever hear of this? All these Advanced Premiere advertisements. Love on a Rooftop. Here's another ad. Boys, turn spare time into prizes and profits. I did one of those before on my paper route. Sure did. I got a light and a horn for my bicycle, selling all these greeting cards. Okay, so Tuesday evening, 10 o'clock, Fugitive drama. Great show. That's the show that The Incredible Hulk was based on. Guy running away all the time.
All right. So The Fugitive, the movie?
No,
I mean the one
Fugitive TV show, and then they made a movie with Harrison Ford years ago. Yep.
They did have a few exercise shows back then, and there still can be some on TV now.
Yeah. Hey, we're halfway through the TV guide, and we're talking about 1966, and our focus is always on science fiction. Let's talk about the Hugo Awards that were presented in 1967 for works in 1966. They were presented at New York Con 3 in Manhattan, August 31st to September 4th, 1967. The Toastmaster was Harlan Ellison. So let's talk about what was the best novel that was awarded for 1966.
It was called The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert A. Heinlein. Yes, I have heard of that one.
Now, also up during that time was Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Huge Flowers for Algernon fan. I would be happy it could be if that won, but it didn't. How about the best novelette for 1966?
The Last Castle by Jack Vance.
Jack Vance. I started reading Jack Vance because he was listed in the Appendix N of Dungeons and Dragons manuals. So there's this section, D&D manual, saying if you want to get more information about fantasy, these are some books to read. So Jack Vance is a great writer. How about best short story?
Neutron Star by Larry Niven.
Best dramatic presentation?
It was Star Trek: The Menagerie.
Now, Star Trek had 3 entries that year, and we knew that 1966 Star Trek took the world by storm. The Naked Time could have won, or the Cormanite Maneuver could have won. Anyway,
it's great. That is like, I mean, so people were recognizing it back then that it was good drama.
Mm-hmm. Best professional magazine?
If, which was edited by Frederick Pohl.
And best professional artist?
Jack Guggen.
So let's get back to TV Guide. So we're looking at, on Wednesday, there's an advertisement for Girl Talk. Hostess Virginia Graham brings together female celebrities to discuss topics of general and female interest.
Well, they still have shows like that today.
So that would be like, what's the show now with Whoopi Goldberg?
View.
The View. So this same thing. Yep. Here we go. Wednesday in the afternoon. This is a show of interest because we're seeing a lot of repeats throughout the day. But 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Channel 12, Superman.
The one with George Reeves, right?
That's right, Noel Neal. Yep.
I used to watch that one.
That would go up against Dark Shadows. Would you watch Dark Shadows or Superman at 4 o'clock on Wednesday?
It would have to be Superman.
Me too, yeah, Superman. Wednesday evening, the news with Walter Cronkite. It's funny when you look at it, though. Back then, do you remember Walter Cronkite? He was around for years.
Yeah.
But he would give the news, and he wouldn't give you his personal opinion. He'd just say, this is the way it is. And you'd walk away making your own opinion on the subject matter. You didn't...
Yeah. I mean, he was a smart guy.
Sure.
He was a great reporter.
Mm-hmm. Also at 6:30, science fiction drama, Project 44.
Don't know that.
No, but at 7 o'clock, the movie, The Story of G.I. Joe. I'd be interested in seeing that. I would have watched that. Has nothing to do with the G.I. Joe action figures, but the name itself is what the action figures took, that Hasbro took the name from. Even though it doesn't make sense because G.I. Joe is General Issue Joe, means the average person, whereas the action figures later on would become specialists in their fields. But Porter Wagner had a music show on.
Of course. Yeah, he lasted until the 70s.
Yep. 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night, Billy Graham Crusade, even later on at night. But here it is. Check this out. 7:30 at night on Wednesday. What would we be watching?
Batman.
Advanced premiere. Look at this. So there's an advertisement. Batman, 7:30 in color.
So we keep seeing these that say advanced premiere. That must have been what I was saying about Star Trek. It must have been an advanced premiere one time when it was on a week or two before this one.
Here's the description. I like these descriptors. Color. Batman and Robin begin their new season. Oh, this is new season for Batman.
Oh, okay.
I guess. Yep. With Shoot a Crooked Arrow, first of a 2-part story. The evil archer is robbing the rich to give to the poor. But what does the hood have to gain? Bandstands Dick Clark and former boxing champ Archie Moore make brief appearances.
So they had people who were famous back then were on it.
Yeah, remember they would open the windows? They would make these cameos?
Yes. So, I mean, Batman was, already a known comic book character, so these people were probably excited about this show.
Oh, man. It was just so in your face. I remember watching it on Channel 11 Alive, and Batman would come on first, and then Star Trek would come later on during dinner time. But I always viewed them as together, Batman and Star Trek, and it was a time period of when color TVs were getting to be more popular. So this show was perfect to have its first season in color and to have all the colors so brilliant, so bright.
It had that right amount of camp, and it was perfect just for showing those colors. I mean, it was very appropriate for the show, and everything just was so entertaining. I know, especially for kids.
Yeah. And the fact that Lost in Space actually had to change their format because of the success of Bat.
Because when Lost in Space came on, it was black and white, and it was more serious.
Remember the first season was much more serious. What did you think about the villains that were part of the Batman show?
They were very awesome, right? And they were celebrities. I assume they were celebrities even back then. It's people
Cesar
we know.
Romero.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And they were just such over-the-top characters that were just great. They were great comedy actors, but also they were great villains. They were great foils for Batman. The things they did, the way they talked, even, it was just, it's what made that show such a wonderful staple in people's lives.
And this is what's fascinating about collecting TV guides, is you're actually able to compare what would we have watched, because there were no VCRs back then. You had to make a choice. I mean, even when they say VCRs came out in the 70s for homes, we never had that when we were growing up. The average person didn't get it to the mid-80s.
Right.
So we would have to make these decisions. We would look at these TV guides and programming and say, okay, I can't watch this because I want to watch this. You had to give and take. You look at who Batman was up against. He was up against The Virginian, which was a Western show, and Billy Graham. Easy choice for me. Very easy choice.
Exactly. I mean, yes, we would have watched Batman.
Later on, there's some choices that are a little bit harder. Sometimes you have to go back and forth. But boy, I love that Batman TV show so much. That it made a massive impact on my childhood. 8:30, Beverly Hillbillies were on. You're a Beverly Hillbillies fan?
Yes.
I loved it. Green Acres.
Yeah, I liked that one too. Now this is something I just noticed. They've got Bob Hope, and it says it's a drama. I mean, we know Bob Hope as a comedian.
Singer Connie Francis made her TV dramatic debut in The Sisters and the Savage. So I guess it's
some kind of drama that starred Bob Hope, and I mean,
go figure.
Interesting.
Dick Van Dyke Show was on at 9:30. I love that. Another advanced premiere, The Man Who Never Was. Thursday morning, a lot of the same shows. An ad for subscribing to TV Guide. Save $2.22 on this $5.10 single copy offer. 34 issues for $2.88.
So they
That's a good deal.
you could get a subscription even back then.
Because I'm looking at the cover price for this TV Guide, it was only 15 cents.
Wow, it really went up later.
Mm-hmm. So now you subscribed to TV Guide for years, right?
Well, I mean, when I was living with my parents, I mean, they just bought it for me every week. But yeah, as a grown up later on, I did have a subscription to it for several years. And I know it, and of course they had Star Trek issues sometimes. But I know cause I had been, I had been subscribing for years, and then one time I went to a con, and I saw that they had these TV guides that were maybe 1 or 2 years old, and they had Star Trek covers, and I had never seen those covers. I was like, is that real? And they said, yeah, these are real. And so I figured out that so the subscribers don't get, these cool covers, and we don't get a choice of which cover we want. Like if you went to the grocery store, you could pick out which cover you want. So I kind of felt cheated, like, wow, so I missed out on getting these cool Star Trek covers. And so I realized the TV Guide and probably all of these companies, they don't really care about taking care as much of their subscribers, because you pay less money when you subscribe, but so that means to the company they're getting less money from you, so they really prefer the people to buy it every week instead of getting that yearly subscription.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
So you just got whatever covers, because at this time there were no alternate covers, no variants.
Right, not back in the 60s,
yeah,
right.
But by the time the variant covers came, you had no choice. You got whatever was sent to you.
Exactly.
There's an ad here for 7:30 on Thursday night. Eyes of the Lion.
It's actually
Tarzan movie.
Right, it's Tarzan.
Yeah. Ron
Ely. Yeah, he was, I just know the name because he was famous for playing Tarzan, yes.
I never knew him as Tarzan. I knew Elmo Lincoln. Okay, so we're gearing up. We're gearing up to the big guns here. The Wonderful World of Wheels, a TV Guide close-up about these, dune buggy cars. Here's a full-page ad. Sneak a peek at NBC Week. Tonight, previews of 3 great programs before their official premiere. So this is Thursday, September 8th. Tarzan, sneak preview. 8:30, in color, Star Trek.
Ooh.
Starring William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, Earthman. Co-starring Leonard Nimoy as Science Officer Spock from the planet Vulcan. Welcome aboard the United Spaceship Enterprise. Where it goes, no program has ever gone before.
Oh, that sounds like a good ad, doesn't it? And they named these actors. I mean, nobody knew those names, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, before Star Trek.
That's right. And then at 9:30, The Hero, a cowboy movie or show that never went anywhere. So we turn the page. There's an ad for the show called Jericho. Another ad for Batman in color. All these advanced premiere ads. F Troop. I love F Troop. I thought that was a funny show. The Tammy Grimes Show. And Thursday night, 7:30, Batman, Walk the Straight Line and Narrow Conclusion. Now here's the unique thing about Batman. When I watched it in repeats on Channel 11, they would show the two-parters back to back. But back when they first aired, you'd watch it one night was a half hour and the other half was a half hour. So you had to watch them 2 nights in a row to get the whole story.
Well, back then, did they actually showed it 2 nights in a row?
Yes, because we just saw Wednesday.
Yeah, we did.
And
okay.
This one says conclusion. So you had to be able to have off 2 nights in a row to watch the whole show. They didn't do them back to back in a row.
they actually did it that way back then.
Yep. So it was on 2 nights, not one. So yeah, let's see. It would choice between Billy Graham, Tarzan, Wonderful World of Wheels, or Batman. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Batman. No contest there. 8 o'clock, F Troop. 8:30. Here's the deciding factor. Would you watch My Three Sons, Billy Graham, Star Trek, or Terry Grimes?
Star Trek. And I just noticed they call Star Trek adventure and not science fiction.
Debut color. This science fiction series centers on the crew of the USS United Spaceship Enterprise as they travel on an extended space patrol. Tonight, the Man Trap. The Enterprise stops on planet M113 for the annual medical checkup of archaeologists Bob and Nancy Crater. But Nancy doesn't seem to be herself. Kirk, William Shatner. Spock, Leonard Nimoy. Dr. Leonard McCoy, DeForest Kelley. Uhura, Nichelle Nichols. Yeoman Janice Rand, Grace Lee Whitley. Sulu, George Takei. So it listed all their names by name. As often as we say the show is about the big three, right at the beginning, they listed the ensemble cast.
But I mean, yeah, I love how TV Guide will list all the guests too, and not just the act, like each actor and who each character and who played that character.
Yes, yep, I like that.
So also some other information about the premiere night of Star Trek. On the night Star Trek premiered, it actually won its time slot. It came on at 8:30. Oh, first of all, it's odd, like coming on at 8:30. These days they wouldn't put a 1-hour drama on at the half hour, but back then they did. So Star Trek. Oh, and of course for the Nielsen ratings, they had to separate them out, first half and second half. So when Star Trek came on at 8:30, it was on against, as we said, Tammy Grimes and My Three Sons, and Star Trek got a 19.2 in the ratings. I mean, and it was the highest in that time slot. And then from 9 to 9:30,
40% of the shares.
Yeah, 40%, which was great. And then from the 9 to 9:30 time slot, the second half of Star Trek, it was on against Bewitched and the Thursday night movie, and Star Trek still won with 40% shares. So, I mean, so everybody watched the premiere. I say everybody, but it was considered a hit on premiere night. It was a
strong premiere.
It was. And then also, what I'm getting this from is the book called These Are the Voyages, Season 1. It actually says that Dorothy Fontana recalled that the very first day after it went on the air, she says, I went into the office at 9 o'clock, same as always. First phone call that I got was from Leslie Nielsen, who Dorothy Fontana says was one of her heroes because she loved Forbidden Planet. And what Leslie Nielsen told her was, I would like to say that I saw the show last night and I thought it was great. The first actor she got a call from loved it, and it was someone that she liked, and it was a famous person who actually endorsed the show.
It's fantastic. Yeah, also it was going against the, here it is, Thursday night movie, The Ladies' Man, as you said, Bewitched, and then 9:30, Hero, a comedy, Bewitched and That Girl.
Oh, wow. No, I used to like That Girl, too. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're looking at this. There's no other science fiction of that time, which I think is good because it's not going up against anything. You got to figure that.
Well, it's still like the genre fantasy. I mean, Bewitched. I mean, it's.
Okay, I can see that. But we know later on, especially in the 90s, the sci-fi shows were purposely going against each other.
They were because they knew they were going after the same audience. So yeah.
They wanted a tug of war match. Friday, and here's a big spot for Gemini spaceflight. The 4-day Gemini 11 spaceflight is scheduled for launching from Cape Kennedy's Pad 19 at 10:25 a.m. today. The mission? To attempt rendezvous and docking with an Agenda target vehicle, perform extravehicular activity, and complete 11 scientific experiments. After docking, plans call for the Agena's propulsion system to boost the Gemini capsule to a rec altitude of 865 miles. The astronauts, Navy Commander Charles Conrad, pilot, and Navy Lieutenant Commander Richard F. Gordon. The Agena target vehicle is scheduled to be launched at 8:48 a.m. The networks plan to go on the air between 7:30 and 8 a.m., preempting regular programming to colorcast the pre-launch preparations and liftoff of the Agena. If this morning's Agena launch goes as scheduled, the networks will continue coverage of the pre-launch preparations and liftoff of Gemini 11, preempting regular programming.
So that's something people were interested in.
They put a lot of emphasis on it to make a large section outlining that and explaining why we're going to shut off some shows for a little while. Advanced premiere, The Green Hornet, another ad, 7:30, in color. Another ad, advanced premiere, Time Tunnel, 8 o'clock, in color.
Yeah, because it was the time of year when there were a lot of premieres on TV. So, so they have all these special ads just for those.
So here it is, 7 o'clock. Twilight Zone, drama, A World of His Own. Gregory West tells his wife that he can conjure up anything he wishes. Man, this is a good year for television. There's so many things on here that we would have been watching live if we were there. So we have a choice at 7:30 between Billy Graham, Pro Football, Jets vs. Dolphins, Wild Wild West, or Green Hornet. What would you watch?
Green Hornet?
Yes. So here we go. Debut, Green Hornet, and his faithful companion, Kato, and their sleek auto, Black Beauty, joins the ranks of comic strip heroes moving to TV. The Hornet's pursuit of criminals will be dead serious, as opposed to Batman's tongue-in-cheek style. Tonight, The Silent Gun. Dave Bannister is murdered at his father's funeral, and the weapon turns out to be a silent, flashless revolver that could allow the underworld to unleash a crime wave. Van Williams plays newspaperman Britt Reed, secretly the Hornet. Bruce Lee is seen as Kato. 8 o'clock, Time Tunnel. Another fantastic show. Hogan's Heroes. Gomer Pyle USMC is at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that was my show, Gomer Pyle.
Oh, I love that show. More cigarette ads. Terryton. Never even heard of that cigarette. Us Terryton smokers would rather fight than switch. Whatever that means. 10 o'clock. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Adventure. Then there's a whole article about Eva Gabor. An ad for false teeth slipping, how to keep them in. Article about this guy, Jack Jones.
Okay, yeah, so we're finished with the TV schedule.
The TV schedule. Yeah. The ads, I think, are always interesting. Bunch of recipes in here, which I think is a pretty good idea. There's an ad for 7-Up, Wet and Wild, Crisp and Crackling, that's 7-Up. Television crosswords, and it ends with an advertisement on back for AT&T Bell Systems. So, we're quite a few premiere shows in 1966. We saw Star Trek and Batman and Dark Shadows and Time Tunnel and Mission Impossible. And we get a chance to talk about that. But what about the shows that ended in 1966?
So we have the Flintstones, Addams Family,
The Munsters.
My Favorite Martian.
Yeah, so those are some favorites. The beautiful thing about repeats is that they never truly go away.
It's a good thing we have syndication. I mean, that's where Star Trek thrived.
Great year for television, 1966.
It was an awesome year. So many shows that still, survived and lived on.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our Facebook group. Live long and may the force be with you. Nanu Nanu.